Have you ever stopped to think about why you do what you do every day? What if the routines and beliefs that shape your life aren't truly your own, but are hardwired into you by society? I've had that thought more times than I can count, on the way to work, in relationships, or just living the daily grind. Why are more and more people choosing to live off the grid, embracing van life, or seeking an alternative ways of living? Because they're tired of the same old routines, the normal way of life that isn't really fulfilling. So how can we reprogram our minds, alter our habits, and escape the social programming that's been holding us back? Let's talk about habits, but not in the usual sense. Think of habits as the building blocks of our reality, programmed into us by society. From the moment we wake up, everything from our morning routine to our thoughts and behaviours is influenced by the external, often without us realising it. The book The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg describes habits as a loop of cue, routine and reward, a cycle that our brains use to automate actions. But here's the catch: these loops can be built by social conditioning, whether it's checking our phones first thing in the morning or buying things we don't need. These habits often serve someone else's interests more than our own. I heard a phrase recently that really resonated with me. It went something like, if you don't follow your own dream with conviction, you'll always be a cog in the machine of someone else's. And I thought this hits a nail on the head really. If we don't take control of our habits and our lives, we end up contributing to someone else's. James Clear in Atomic Habits emphasises the power of small changes. By hacking these habit loops, we can reclaim control. Start with one tiny habit that aligns with your true self, something as simple as journaling for 5 minutes every morning. It's not about the habit itself, but it's the process of reclaiming our autonomy from the programming we've been living under. My own personal way of dealing with a habit I want to drop has been simply to replace it with another action. For example, I recently stopped eating sugar and initially craved biscuits or chocolate after work. I started pretending feta cheese was now my new chocolate. As crazy as it sounds, it works for me. James Clear talks about increasing friction to make bad habits harder to continue. So for example, if we're trying to quit smoking, how about we put our tobacco in the car and leave our lighter at work, thus creating 2 layers of resistance? Start by questioning the beliefs behind those habits. For example, why do we feel the need to smoke? Is it because we genuinely want to, or because we want to escape our own thought patterns for a brief period and breathe deeply? As another example, let's look at phone checking. I think the reason behind this is that we're instinctively social creatures who thrive on social interactions and need to feel part of a tribe. It's a survival mechanism that's hardwired into us. However, it's ironic that the device that is meant to open up endless opportunities for connection is for some making us feel more isolated than ever before. Scrolling through social media can sometimes amplify the feeling of being on the outside looking in rather than fostering a real connection. So how do we break free from this? Let's start by challenging the habit loop that drives us to check our phones. What's the cue? Maybe it's boredom, need for distraction. What's the reward? A brief dopamine hit, but does it truly make us feel connected or fulfilled? Often the answer is no. Instead of reaching for the phone, we could keep a book nearby and reframe our thinking to, what I read in this book is 100 times more valuable to me than looking at my phone for 5 minutes. A powerful concept from Duhigg's work is focusing on keystone habits, habits that create a ripple effect across our lives. But instead of just thinking about physical habits, think about mental keystone habits. For example, meditation or daily mindfulness can help us become aware of the programming that controls our thoughts and actions, allowing us to disrupt it. So how do we make sure these new habits and mindsets stick? It's all about reprogramming our identity. Instead of saying, I want to be more mindful, say, I am someone who thinks for themselves. This identity shift is crucial because it helps us resist the pull of societal norms. Regular self-reflection is key. Each week, take a moment to assess our habits and thought patterns. Are they truly ours, or are they still influenced by the outside forces? This ongoing self-audit will help us stay aligned with our goals and keep us from slipping back into old patterns. Another important technique is habit replacement. Instead of simply eliminating a bad habit, replace it with a new one that aligns with our new mindset. If we usually watch TV As a way to unwind, try practicing mindfulness or engaging in a hobby that stimulates our creativity instead. The goal is to find better ways to fulfill our needs that aren't dictated by social programming. Here's the real key to success. It's not just about starting small and staying consistent with habits. It's all about constantly questioning the programming that influences our lives and making deliberate choices that align with our true selves. The power of tiny, consistent actions combined with a mindset of self-awareness and autonomy will lead to massive, life-changing results. So the journey to breaking free from social programming and creating the life we truly want isn't easy, but it's worth it. Let's start small, stay consistent, and remember, every habit we build should bring us closer to the life we want, not the one society has laid out for us. Thanks for watching this first video in a series that I hope will not only give you techniques to try and improve your life, but will also make you question the norm. Until next time, think for yourself and free your mind.